So let's talk about restructures a bit here. So when they do the restructure of a facility to go to hourly, the intention is that offices with 10 or more routes will have at least 3 routes without a scheduled number of hours. So 80% of the remaining routes will be guaranteed 40 hours. So a depot with 10 routes would have 6 or 5.6 rounded up routes with a guaranteed 40 hours. The rest would be not guaranteed. Offices with less than 10 routes will not maintain a minimum number of hours per week per route. And this is where it gets a little weirder. So according to the corporation, what they're saying is that there's still going to be annual assessments of RSMC routes. But I don't know if this applies to the new restructure or not. But so if the annual assessment of any route in the office results in a route's scheduled hours being adjusted by plus or minus 10%, then the following process shall apply. All route holders in the office and all permanent flex employees in the postal installation shall bid by seniority on all positions in the office and all permanent flex positions in the postal installation. So if one route's values increase or decrease by 10%, everybody bids. All annual assessments in the office will be completed at the same time and the same month, or will be completed the same month. Any such bid shall take place in the month following the completion of all annual assessments in the office. If an annual assessments are completed in November, December, the bid shall take place in January of the following calendar year. A route holder without assignment may displace the most junior route holder or relief person, and the most junior will be laid off. But there will be no bid if there is a plan to restructure the exercise, to restructure the facility in the next 6 months. That's pretty horrifying. Like, bidding is stressful. And if you're a part-time route holder, it's more likely that your route is going to increase, because when they build your routes, a part-time route will be built probably leading into the areas that are growing, because that route needs to grow. So it could be they had a couple of apartment buildings or an entire community, and suddenly your value goes up 10%, and then you've invested in that route knowing it's going to grow, and then it's gone. It's going to somebody else. So I don't like that idea. I know this is our order, the video order is a little disjointed, but I don't have a lot of time to tell you what's on here. So personal days. It's important to note here that there should be 10 labor code sick days and 7 contractual personal days. We currently have a grievance in for that, because when the Canadian government assigned us sick days during the COVID pandemic, they assigned us 10 sick days. We already had 7 personal days. The corporation applied for an exception to the 10 labor code days, and the corporation was denied that by the government. Since then, they have only given us 6 of those days, and we have a national policy grievance in. By voting yes to this contract, we are wiping the slate clean, although we don't think that's legal. But according to what the CIRB is saying, that's what you're voting on. So we're wiping the slate clean and throwing that away. And what is 4 sick days worth? It's about $1,000. And that's what they're offering you as a bonus. So they're going to be sticking money in one pocket and making it taxable, and taking the untaxable amount out of your other pocket. So they're not actually giving you a bonus. But we'll move on from here. So there are unions that are winning this grievance, this particular grievance. And we're going to win it too. But if you vote yes, it throws that grievance away, along with the grievances about vacation leave and how you're not being allowed to roll it over and all of those things. That all goes away. And then you won't be paid out for it. It's a mess. The There are changes to the short-term. Payout for route holders will be based on the activity components of the carried allowances. For 2025, payout remains $90 for a permanent flex employee, and for June 2026, payout becomes $120 for permanent flex employees. You will now be able to carry over some of those days. You can carry over personal days. On written requests, up to 5 personal days can be carried over. A maximum 7 personal days can be banked in this way. Anything over the maximum will be forfeited. No payout will be forfeited, and all payouts will be made on September 30th of the same year. And at most, an employee may not have more than 18 days at any one time. So there's that. There are changes to the short-term disability program, and they might ultimately be good situations. But all of this depends on what the board thinks. So if we make a submission to the board and they deny it, we just go back to our old SCDP and we don't gain anything in the contract. So there's nothing guaranteed. They haven't bothered to apply to make these changes or any of that stuff. Overall, it'll cost the union less and management. It'll cost the company less. Some of it's just a little sketchy depending on, because you only have 16 days to apply for employment insurance to start the process. And if you do not apply for insurance, they only have to pay you 25%. There are some changes to job security, increasing the amount of time an employee can use their recall rights to obtain a vacant position from 12 months to 24. They will continue the idea of no retroactive recovery of overpayments in relation to the annualized total of personal contact items. So they want to put start times in. For the purpose of calculating hours worked by employees or determining whether employees are entitled to overtime payments, official starting times will be used unless recorded arrival times are later than the official starting times. It's interesting how they don't restrict you from coming in early, which they've done with letter carriers, but they won't pay you for it. You guys don't currently have official start times, but now you will. And I suspect that they will turn into a trap time problem like they have with the carriers right now if they don't just load level you in that process. There are some breaks and rest period allowances now. You already get rest period allowances, but they're going to give you, if you work less than 5 hours, you get a 10-minute paid break. If you work 5 to 5.99 consecutive hours, you get a 30-minute paid meal break, but no 10-minute break. If you work 6 hours to 6.99 consecutive hours, you get a 10-minute paid break and a 30-minute meal period. And if you work 7 to 8 hours, you get 2 10-minute paid breaks and 1 30-minute paid meal period. There are a lot of things in here where they're stacking it. They're giving you no cost benefits. Like court leave. I mean, technically it's a cost because they have to have a relief cover you, but I don't think that'll be so much of a problem now. They got court leave, education leave, training leave, leave for indigenous practices, leave for abused families. Those are already covered under the labor code. And for the weekend employees, they want to create a centralized delivery hub, which could be no further than 30 kilometers from your regular work location. The travel will not be paid on those days, but they will be paid a minimum of 6 hours in reporting to the secondary location. The employer can change schedules of secondary work locations as long as they give 14 days notice. Other changes only require 48 hours after a meaningful consultation with the union. The corporation will maximize the use of corporate vehicles. So I guess they'll have RSMCs driving corporate vehicles on the weekend. And this agreement can be implemented under the old and the new route measurement systems for weekend delivery. All right? Keep your chin up. Vote no.